You have 9 minutes before the most dangerous man alive finds you specifically. Not the van, not the cargo, not the address you memorized and then burned. You. Your name. Written on a bullet that already exists somewhere in Moscow tonight. The Orebov family found you in a bar in Kiev with 300 euros and a debt. They offered you a number that solved every problem you had in one short conversation. You said yes before they finished the sentence, and that yes is why you are here. That yes has lived in your chest for the last 40 minutes without paying rent. The GPS glows green and sick like something infected, guiding you into absolute darkness. Moscow, at 2 in the morning, is not a city anymore. It is a verdict. Your fingers stopped feeling the steering wheel somewhere around the garden ring tonight. You keep driving anyway, because stopping is the one option that ends everything faster. 3 crates in the back, military thermal optics, serial numbers filed completely smooth and clean. The kind of cargo that does not appear on manifests or in honest conversations. You told yourself this was the last run 14 months ago on the very first run. Viktor Sorokin runs distribution with a management style that involves people occasionally stopping entirely. You have never been late for Viktor, and tonight you are 7 minutes behind schedule. The shipyard materializes on your left like a nightmare that was always going to be here. The cigarette ember finds you before you find it, a single orange float in all that black. Viktor steps into the thin light, and the temperature drops 2 degrees around him immediately. He's not large, but he fills every space he enters the way a loaded weapon does. His face is a document of every bad decision every person around him ever made. He taps your window with a ring that was never designed for wearing on fingers. You open the door, and cold, and vodka, and the suggestion of violence arrive together. Viktor did not survive 40 years in this business by spending words on unnecessary things. He looks at the crates, he looks at the serial numbers, he nods once, slowly. Your entire cardiovascular system exhales for the first time in the last 60 minutes. That nod means the numbers match. That nod means you go home tonight. Probably. Then his radio makes a sound that rewrites the entire color of the night instantly. The voice in the static is professional, and it is terrified, and those two things cannot coexist. Viktor's eyes move from you to the surrounding darkness in one slow, deliberate sweep. Not deciding what to do, already doing it, the decision made somewhere before the radio spoke. The windshield of your van dissolves before the sound of the shot arrives to explain it. Glass falls across the frozen ground like something expensive, breaking in very slow and cruel motion. Viktor does not flinch, and that absence of flinching is the most terrifying thing you have witnessed. He pulls a weapon from his coat, the way other men pull out a phone. You hit the concrete and press yourself against the rear wheel of the delivery van. Tracer rounds are writing bright red sentences across the darkness that all say the same word. Your brain offers you 3 exit options, and then quietly informs you that none of them are good. A black sedan hits the side of your van at speed, and the world tips sideways. The impact is a sound you feel in your back teeth before you feel it anywhere else. Viktor's 2 bodyguards last 30 seconds, which is frankly longer than you would last in their position. You are behind a crate, and the crate is absorbing the conversation that was meant for you. The adrenaline is performing miracles on your body that will have serious consequences by morning. If morning happens, which is currently the single largest open question in your immediate universe, then you see it, and your brain processes it, and immediately wishes it had not done that. The briefcase is sitting in the open van door like a question you cannot afford to answer. Viktor brought forward payment for 3 future shipments, 600,000 euros, sitting completely open. Reaching for it means standing up in a place where standing up is a terminal activity. Not reaching means going home with a story nobody believes, and nothing else at all. The grenade lands in the water 4 feet away and poses its question to the universe. The universe answers with a column of freezing black harbor water, moving at significant speed. It evacuates every single thought from your head and replaces all of them with white noise. Victor is falling back to his SUV, and he is using your position to draw fire. Not protecting you, using the geometry of your body to create an opening for himself. This is the moment you understand what you actually are in Victor's accounting system tonight. A line item, a delivery mechanism, not a person. A tool that has now outlived its invoice. The briefcase is 3 meters away, and your legs are moving before the thought finishes forming. Your hand closes on the handle, and something draws a line of white fire across your arm. A graze, your brain observes with strange clinical distance. Keep moving. The math still works. You fold into the SUV as Victor puts the accelerator through the floor of the vehicle. 4 sets of headlights appear immediately behind you, as if they were always waiting for this moment. Victor drives the way a man drives when dying in a crash seems like an upgrade. You are in the back seat with a bullet graze and a briefcase and 0 good answers. He strikes you with an open hand when you drop the magazine he passed you. Efficient, unsentimental, the way a mechanic taps a component that is not performing to specification. The bridge appears, and Victor accelerates, and every instinct you possess screams at the same time. You see the construction gap, the missing road, the black river 40 feet below the edge. Victor says one word, and it means he prefers what is below to what is behind. You have the length of this bridge to decide if you share that preference or not. You do not share it, but you are in the back seat, and that fact is decisive. The SUV leaves the bridge, and for 3 seconds the city is below you, and everything is quiet. It is the most peaceful 3 seconds you have experienced in 14 months of this particular life. The river hits the windshield like a wall, the universe assembled specifically for this moment tonight. Cold is the wrong word for what the water is when it comes through the door seals. Cold is a winter morning. This is something that rewrites your cellular operating temperature immediately. Victor is out before the forward momentum finishes expressing itself. That is how prepared he always is. Your seatbelt chooses this precise moment to develop a philosophical objection to being released at all. The water reaches your chest, and the pressure building inside your skull is a countdown timer. You find the release with 3 fingers operating at approximately 40% of their normal function. You push through the window into black water, and your coat immediately decides it prefers the bottom. Above you, there are lights, and lights mean surface, and surface means the next 30 seconds matter. You break through, and the air tastes like gasoline and the specific flavor of an extended contract on life. Victor is already on the bank, watching you with the expression he gives all logistical problems. You drag yourself out of the river, and every system in your body files a formal complaint. He tells you to stand, and his voice contains the information that staying down is permanent. The briefcase is still in your hand, and you have no memory of deciding to keep it. Victor looks at it, and then at you, and reassesses you the way an engineer reassesses a component. 3 miles into the forest, no path, a location that exists on no official map anywhere. The cabin light appears between trees, and your body moves toward it without requiring any instruction. An old man opens the door, sees 2 soaking men, and shows less surprise than a wall would. The fireplace heat is a physical force that hits your frozen chest and closes your eyes involuntarily. Victor is on a satellite phone dismantling someone and saying the word betrayal with surgical certainty. The leak came from inside the Orobov family tonight, from someone who knew every safe location. That single fact rearranges the entire landscape of danger in every direction simultaneously around you. The old man looks at you with the specific pity reserved for people who are already mostly gone. You look back at him and think very clearly. Not yet. I have not finished calculating my exit. Victor says open the briefcase, and his tone leaves no room for interpreting this as a request. The money is there, perfect, stacked, real, and beneath the top layer, a red light blinks patiently. Small, rhythmic, absolutely certain of where it is, and completely certain of who is coming here. The rival crew put the tracker in the payment before the meeting ever began tonight. Victor throws the briefcase through the window, and the yard outside ceases to exist as a concept. 3 black vans cut through the tree line, and they have their lights on. Subtlety is finished. The cabin door comes off its frame under a boot that has done this specific thing before. Victor moves through the chaos the way violence moves when it has been practiced into second nature. He is laughing, and you are behind a stone fireplace, and these are your respective current positions. Your magazine empties at the single worst possible moment in the sequence of possible moments tonight. Victor slides a fresh one across the floor without looking, from one professional to one very tired civilian. The floor has something the walls do not, which is a direction not currently occupied by incoming fire. The trapdoor under the kitchen table is visible through the smoke, and you move toward it low and fast. The root cellar is dark and cold and smells like earth and the very specific perfume of survival. You crawl until your hand finds a gap in the foundation wall, and cold air comes through it. You push into the snow behind the cabin while the fight inside continues without noticing your departure. The rival crew is entirely organized around the front, and Victor is providing them full and complete entertainment. Victor Sorokin, you think, will probably survive this because some things are simply too committed to stop. You have no coat, no money, one working arm, and the absolute conviction you are not finished. That conviction is not based on evidence, it is based on the fact that you are still deciding. As long as you are deciding, the equation is open, and open equations can still change their conclusions. You walk into the trees, and the dark accepts you the way dark accepts everything, without conditions. A road sound reaches you through the forest, and roads lead to other roads, lead to elsewhere. Elsewhere is the only destination with any operational value for you at this specific moment tonight. A town appears, small, the kind that appears on regional maps in small print and nowhere else. The train station is unlocked because there is nothing inside. Anyone has decided to want badly enough. Westbound train in 26 minutes, and that number is exactly and precisely sufficient for your purposes. You sit under the fluorescent light and look at your hands for the first time all night. They have stopped shaking, and that small cessation feels like a very specific and personal kind of victory. The gold ring on your right hand was your grandfather's, and it goes under the ticket window glass. The man behind it slides a ticket back without a word, and you take it without a word. 2 people at 4 in the morning who both understand that some transactions need no language at all. The train arrives, and you board the last car and find the corner where the light does not reach. Moscow begins to get smaller through the glass, and smaller, and then becomes a glow on clouds. Then the glow fades, and there is just the dark Russian countryside moving past in both directions. The heating in this car is working, and that single operational fact is the most beautiful thing available. You close your eyes, and the darkness behind them is just darkness. No cranes, no ember, no river. 14 months of careful invisible work ended in 40 minutes of extremely visible and personal chaos tonight. The Orabov family will look for you, and they are very good at that particular activity. But you are still making decisions, and the people looking for you do not know that yet. Whatever gets off this train is not the same person who said yes in that bar in Kyiv. That person made decisions from having nothing and being willing to do anything about that condition. This person is making decisions from having survived something specifically designed to produce a different outcome. These are different positions, and the difference is the only thing that matters about tonight. Not yet. Not like this. Not here. The train moves west, and you decide to stay awake long enough to see the sun. Not because sunrise means safety. The calculations on safety are much longer and more uncertain than that. But because you were in that black river, and you chose the lights above you over the bottom. Every decision after that one was made by someone who is still here, making them on a moving train. That is yours. It always was.